Okay, yesterday night I was doing a video on how to eat sashimi and drink sake, and when I was actually doing the sake preparation, I thought I was recording, but I wasn't because I forgot to press the recording button. I'm not going to eat sashimi tonight because my wife left some kind of Filipino stuff that I ate for dinner that I think she had from a party. Something like eggplant or something. I can't remember what it was, and stuff like that. But this is the Japanese sake, and they said the very expensive sake you drink chilled, but at most sake you drink at body temperature. So this sake I'm storing at room temperature, and it's here in the New York City area, and it's pretty cold right now, around 30s at night. So this sake is far from room temperature, but at Japan also it gets pretty cold in the winter time. Although it's not winter, it's spring now. But anyway, so let's do this sake preparation thing. So you're supposed to have a special sake heating bottle, and I just have this IKEA bottle that was just in my kitchen. I'm going to take this great big bottle of sake and carefully pour it in to the IKEA bottle. That becomes my sake heating bottle. And I made a lot of sake, more than I may want to drink, but it's only 18% as compared to American liquor. So it probably won't hit me as much, so maybe I'll drink the whole little bottle. Anyway, so I'm supposed to lower it inside the boiling water. I hope the glass doesn't crack. I don't know if this IKEA glass is like shatterproof. So I'm lowering it into the bottle of steaming hot water, and I'm heating the sake up to body temperature before I drink it. So I don't know if I just put it down here and let it like, yeah, the glass isn't cracking. If it cracked, I would lose all the sake. Because I don't know if that's like a special Pyrex type glass or it's just an ordinary glass container. But it's the only little thing I had there that looked like a sake warming bottle. So anyway, here we are, and we're waiting for the sake to warm. And maybe I'll even lift up the camera so you can see the sake warming there. Do you see it warming? Okay, so basically we heat the sake up to body temperature. And you can tell by these, you can buy an expensive thermometer or you just feel it. I guess they didn't have thermometers in the Edo period in Japan, so they just felt it with their hand. So that's a little bit slightly cooler than body temperature. So while we're waiting for the sake to warm, we'll talk a little bit about it. The Japanese took polished rice and they added a mold, and the mold converted the starch in the rice into sugar. I guess it into a disaccharide, probably like table sugar, which is sucrose. And you know, starches are just polymers made out of many sugar molecules. Like you have maltase in your saliva, and you can take maltose, I think milk sugar, and break it down, and it'll taste sweet, or maybe not maltose, but something you can break down, and if you leave it on your tongue long enough, and it'll taste sweet. I forget what it is. Same thing with the rice. You break it down to sugar, and then they add yeast, and yeast is the fermenting agent. Yeast turns sugar into alcohol and carbon dioxide. I believe it's carbon dioxide, and my organic chemistry is weak after about 30 years. Anyway, and they were able to get a pretty high alcohol content, like between 12% and 18%. This particular sake, which has got to be a cheap sake because I didn't pay too much for it, is a Gekkeikan or something, is about 18%. I think Americans like their alcohol very strong, so that's probably the strongest you can get around Japan. And is this anywhere near room temperature? I mean, sorry, no, body temperature, not room temperature. Let's pour a little bit of it into the sake serving glass. You're supposed to have a little round glass to serve it in. Okay, we'll put the rest of the sake back into the heating bottle, and maybe it'll heat to the proper temperature. This, I think, is still a little bit too cool, but let's taste it. It's supposed to taste slightly sweet because all of the sugar didn't ferment the alcohol. It tastes like the sake I have in restaurants where I have to pay $10 for a little glass of sake like this. Not bad. It does taste slightly sweet. I'll let you see it in the camera. So even though it's inexpensive, let's not call it a cheap bottle of sake, but pretty good. I don't know if you can say you can taste all the notes or flavors in it, but definitely you taste a little bit of the sugar left behind, which you're supposed to do. Not bad at all. So I'm going to serve myself a little bit more sake. And you're not supposed to do it that way, by the way. You're supposed to pour it with two hands like this into a glass, but who cares? And we'll drink that, and that'll be the end of this video. This is even slightly better because it's actually warmer. It's closer to body temperature. The warmer cheap sake gets, the better it tastes. Or maybe the alcohol just started hitting me. I don't know. Definitely not like vodka. There's a different flavor to it. Not bad. From now on, I'm going to warm my sake as much as I did this. It tastes exactly like in the Japanese restaurants. Okay, that's the end. The end.